to a brand new edition of the Ramble on Reactions. With me in my living room is Handsome Dan Nye.
With Eric in his living room
That's
is
right.
Clever Eric Muller. No, wait, I'm with you. I'm already confused.
Good job, buddy.
Thoughts, things.
It's like I took you out back and hit you upside the head with a 2x4 like professional wrestler Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Now, let's segue into the movie that Dan just saw.
Oh, there were so many easier ways to go, and that was so roundabout. I love it. I love how hackneyed that was, but you got there. You got there. So Hacksaw Ridge, everyone's seen trailers for it, from the director of Braveheart, Mel Gibson.
He also did The Passion of the Christ. I got it in on while watching it.
That's awkward. So Mel Gibson directed Andrew Garfield being the main character in a movie that is about Andrew Garfield pretty much more or less his whole life, and then it gets into his beliefs. He's very much...
Now, it's not Andrew Garfield playing Andrew Garfield.
No, it's Andrew Garfield playing Dawes.
Okay.
I want to say Desmond. Desmond Dawes is the character's name. So he's playing a real person who is named Desmond Dawes, who is in the army, and he was a conscientious objector to the war, but not in the way you would think, where most people, when they're objecting to the war, they're like, it's bad. And he's like...
Me.
He's like, I don't want to carry a gun. And they're all like, what? No guns? That's un-American.
Oh!
Pretty much. So that's more or less the middle of the movie. The beginning of the movie is a little bit more setup. There's a very shocking moment, like in the first 5 minutes of the movie, which I wasn't expecting. And I'm like, oh shit. Which really threw me off. I'm not even going to kind of spoil. But it did set a good tone for the movie. Hugo Weaving, who I didn't realize was in this movie, plays his dad, who does, I would say, I'd give him a little bit. I would not be surprised to see a supporting actor nod for Hugo Weaving for this, because he was really good. He plays a drunk, but it's really like heartbreaking to watch his dad. But Andrew Garfield as Desmond Dawes, he, meets this girl, they fall in love, they get engaged. He goes off to join the army. Again, like, not a lot of this is spoilers. And then you get him in Basic, where he runs into Vince Vaughn as his sergeant, which is kind of weird, and Sam Worthington as his captain. So it's like, these are people, and it's slightly a run-of-the-mill war story, like Fish Out of Water, like, oh, we don't know you, we're going to judge you, and blah, 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 but ultimately end up respecting you.
Why did you like and didn't like about the film?
What I liked, it is, again, people said before, it is masterfully directed. The type of performances Mel Gibson gets out of everyone is great. It's written very well. The war scenes are very, very intense and visceral, and there are, like... If this is someone who is a veteran and they do get flashbacks and whatnot, I would say advise you heavily before going to see this, because there are parts
R-rated,
or it's a hard R, but not even really for language. I don't know how much language was in this movie. It's more for visuals and that war. And then once you get to like the climax and towards the end of the movie, it really ramps up, and it's the last like hour of the movie is a very intense battlefield on Hacksaw Ridge, which is where it comes from. As far as dislikes, I didn't have that many. Vince Vaughn took me out a little bit of it, because it's like, watching this movie was like Vince Vaughn trying to do R. Lee Ermey from Full Metal Jacket, and he was basically playing the same role.
Wow, you just got me to actually go see it.
But it was still Vince Vaughn. It was like, because before he got into comedies, Vince Vaughn was very much a dramatic actor.
Yes.
And so I was looking forward to seeing a little bit more of this, but you know how that R. Lee Ermey role can be like, the insults are so close to being funny, but they're also so, like, mean and harsh and, like, terrible. Mm-hmm. Having it come out of Vince Vaughn's mouth, it made it a lot harder, and, like, even the characters at one point, Andrew Garfield's kind of laughing at it. So I guess it does play in both ways, like, where it's harsh, but where it's also kind of funny. So I guess that's why Vince Vaughn could have done it. He's very good at it, but it's still kind of Vince Vaughn. Like, you kind of know what you're getting.
All right, Vince Vaughn aside, grade this movie.
This movie is an A. It is definitely going to be nominated for many Oscars. It's a great movie. I don't think it's going to be my favorite movie of the year, but I can definitely like respect it for what it is and how good of a movie it is.
Alright, that was Handsome Dan Knight telling you what he thinks about Hacksaw Ridge. I don't have anything clever in terms of jokes for this, because it's a serious matter. So, please like, subscribe, give us comments, let us know what you think, and as always, sitting with Handsome Dan Knight, I am Clever Eric Muller, wishing you all the best, ahoy ahoy, and ramble on.
Anchors away.
Oh!